Good evening, everybody. It's Warren Burke. How are you?
Good evening, Warren.
Hello, Mia. And I see Lauren is here. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good evening.
You're welcome. And Debbie. And we have a very special visitor. It's Francesca Leopold from our health committee, who I asked to attend this because I thought the information would be useful.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Burke. Hello,
You-
Mia.
Good evening, Fran. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Tammy, Debbie, and
How's
Lauren.
Debbie? I don't know. Lauren, Francesca is also the chair of the Kings County Advisory Board at Kings County Hospital. We'll wait a few minutes and then we'll start. And Lauren, don't worry about the attendance. The people who need to hear are here.
About the what?
The attendance, the people who need to hear are here.
Oh, that's great.
Meaning Mia.
Wonderful. This is actually pretty good attendance for a committee meeting, I think. For a
Well, it
committee
depends.
meeting.
This committee has not been, how should I put this, exemplary in terms of attendance and activities,
Okay.
but it doesn't inhibit the work we do because I'm on the executive board of the CV, and
Okay.
we have Mia and we have people like Francesca, and we take care of what we need to take care of.
Great.
Welcome, Barbara. Who is going to be your co-presenter, Lauren?
Yes, I'm actually her co-presenter. She's the main person here.
Who is?
Barbara.
Oh, welcome, Barbara.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. We'll start in about 2 minutes. So you guys are from the bids, huh? That's terrific. I was chairman of the Economic Development Committee a couple of years ago, and we did have a bid on Flatbush. It wasn't a bid; it was trying to be a bid through Pratt. But there was a good merchants association there, and then it sort of fell apart. So you have quite an accomplishment. Congratulations.
That was with Dale, right? Dale was
Yeah,
one of the people.
Exactly. Dale was one of the people, and there, I believe the person who was the president was a woman named Shelley,
Okay.
but I forget her last name.
Toy store?
Yes,
Okay. Yes, I've heard all about you all or about that group before.
right. And they did do a couple of good things. I mean, they used to have one fair where they closed down Flatbush and had very good attendance. So,
That's great.
okay, so we're going to get started. My name is Warren Burke. I'm the chair of the Economic Development Committee, and I want to welcome everybody who's attending. I want to get right to the presentation because we're excited about that. So there are two people, Barbara Goose.
Close, yes.
Yes, thank you. And Lauren Collins, who is the executive director of the Flatbush and Church bids. So I'm turning it over to you, ladies, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, and good evening again, everyone. It's saying that I cannot share. You can't share content unless the host, a co-host, or presenter makes you the presenter. Can you make me a presenter, please?
Yes, I've provided you co-host privileges, so you should be able to present.
Thank
Lauren,
you.
will you need them as well?
No, Barbara's gonna do the
Got it. Okay, thanks.
I'm just waiting for, I guess, permission. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. I'm trying to move this bar here. Does anyone know how I can move this bar? I'm not really familiar with this system here.
I believe that it should be, when you go to more options, it should be, it should allow you to go into presentation mode. We can see your, you are sharing, so we can see. Is it just not in presentation mode? Got it. There you are.
Okay. We got action, everyone. Thank you. Sorry about that. So again, good evening, everyone. My name is Barbara Theus, and I'm the program manager for AVS NYC. And I'm my executive director, Lauren, who's on the call here, and you will hear from her again really shortly. I just wanted to give a brief, synopsis on what we are with Flatbush. I'm excited to talk about Flatbush because I'm born and raised, and I'm excited to share with you our findings today. Just a quick background on Flatbush. Flatbush, with this 2020 census, we researched and found out we are a population of over 200,000 people, but also diverse with different ethnic backgrounds making up Flatbush. We're home to institutions like Kings County, Brooklyn College, and SUNY Downstate, where I believe is also a teaching college, a hospital, I believe, where a lot of people then transition over. So here on Flatbush, we are here to talk about our findings from the CDNA, and I will talk to you about that right now. So in 2021, at the end of last year, a couple of Flatbush community organizations were awarded the Avenue NYC Revitalization Grant. And in this grant, it provides different community organizations the ability to research and find out what are the challenges and needs that our area has and what we can do to address them. So we did that for Flatbush with a couple of community organizations. And in this presentation, you're going to see our key takeaways, our key findings on business inventory, same for storefront, streetscape conditions, as well as our merchant and consumer surveys. At the end of all this, we'll share with you the strengths, challenges, and opportunities we found while conducting this CDNA. So here we go. The key takeaway. So in this slide here is basically the summary of our CDNA, and it's the most important slide that I would like everyone who take a chance to listen to this presentation to take away with. So the key takeaways that we found by surveying and talking to merchants and consumers and going up and down Flatbush really, residents and business owners agree that Flatbush is special and unique in its accessibility, diversity, affordability, and more importantly, its people. Everything is here. Every time you speak to anyone about what do you like about Flatbush, their face lights up and say, everything is here. It's diverse. I love the people. And I loved hearing that feedback when speaking to people. Another takeaway we found was that people want to see more community activities. They're very big on ensuring that Flatbush looks and feels good. So landscaping and beautification is one of them, as well as sanitation monitoring. We've also noted that we are still recovering from the pandemic. So merchants have noted that they've seen a decrease in profits and are requesting more access to things such as credit and financing, as well as support with their leases and landlords in order to make it out. Another note was that we need to find effective street parking. We want to be able to have more people visit our corridor so that they can shop So we want to find effective solutions for street parking, as well as solutions for our bus lanes so that we can increase traffic to our stores. So I just mentioned we surveyed, I'm letting somebody in. We surveyed businesses in the corridor in Flatbush, and we also put them in categories. Our number one category, which I'm not sure some people you might not find surprising, but it's restaurants. Our number one category for Flatbush is restaurants. Number 2 would be hair, nail, and beauty. 3 would be clothing. Then you have church, then pharmacy and optical stores, rounding off the top 5. We also see that Flatbush is occupied about 88% with businesses, which is good, and we're vacant at just about 12%, which is the average rate. Again, here in this slide, we just broke down per organization and per section of Flatbush, the different categories. And again, all top 5, you'll see clothing stores, restaurants, hair, nail, and beauty, as well as pharmacies. And these again are the different sections of Brooklyn with the same categories. We also surveyed the conditions of our storefront. And we found that about 30% of them are not in great condition and 60% are. So we also would like to figure out effective solutions on how to make Flatbush look better, and our storefronts are part of that. Now we're going into the survey portion. And again, as we mentioned before, we surveyed about 300 business owners, and we wanted to know what were their challenges facing, business today. Number 1 that was mentioned was crime prevention and safety. Number 2, lack of parking that we just mentioned, lease, rent, low foot traffic, and again, what I just mentioned, which was aspects to financing. Our merchants want the ability to stay in business. They want the ability to have resources for to negotiate their leases, and also to have resources to help them stay safe within the area. They want to be able to participate in also the beautification efforts for Flatbush, as they know that beautification and sanitation was also a top priority for us. I'm going to take it over to Lauren, who's going to finish off our merchant surveys and consumer survey portion of our presentation.
Okay, can you all hear me? Yes? I want to make sure I have it. Yes. Hi. So I'm Lauren Elvers Collins, Executive Director of the Church Avenue bid and the Flatbush Avenue bid. And just to point out, so we're actually right adjacent to CB9, although we have a block of our district is in CB9, the Parkside to Clarkson, that one block over there where the Carvel Cinnabon, my favorite new restaurant, is. And but of course, the issues don't stop at Clarkson. So I mean at Parkside. So we're really glad to be presenting. So starting with the merchant survey, we surveyed 275 merchants going all the way from Church, Flatbush, also Nostrand Avenue, all the way to Brooklyn College between the 4 groups. Over half of them cited a decrease in profit since COVID-19, which is not too surprising. Most of the merchants we surveyed rent as opposed to own. 10 of them were not comfortable answering that question. And this was actually, I was kind of surprised, over half of them have been in business for less than 5 years. So there was a good amount of turnover. And with consumers, we surveyed over 300 consumers. We set up a little table with music, and Barbara always likes to give out candy, which is great. And we had tote bags, and we surveyed people on the corner of Flatbush and Church. There were some surveys done at Hillel Plaza over by Brooklyn College and other locations. Most of them, over 50%, shop at least daily or 2 to 4 times a week in Flatbush. 60% of them walk or take the bus. Most of them live in Flatbush and then shop during the week and weeknights, and not so much on the weekends. And then looking back, 41% of the people we surveyed for consumers were foreign born, 59% native born. The racial makeup, 50% African American, 20% and identified as Latino, 20% white, and then 9% Native American, and a small sliver of a mix of other nationalities. So the main takeaways: people wanted to see a cleaner, prettier Flatbush. Probably no surprise to anyone. Sanitation, beautification, and graffiti removal were the top changes that people wanted to see, along with better crime and safety measures. But also a number of people, I would say mostly women, just anecdotally, mentioned more community and youth events. And I'm going to throw it back to Barbara for the strengths, challenges, and opportunities.
Thank you, Lauren. So as we mentioned, we engage with hundreds of businesses and customers throughout Flatbush to better their view of the district and to get their feedback on what might take for it to be improved. Some of the key takeaways again is that Flatbush is a high traffic area that's valued by its customers. Consumers mostly feel safe in the district. You know, merchants do not. We'll talk about that a little later. Everyone wants to improve the cleanliness of the district, citing sanitation as the main concern. The district has an average vacancy rate of 12%, which is standard for business in NYC. And merchants would benefit from lease and marketing support, as well as credit support going through as we're recovering through the pandemic. So again, what are some of the strengths from Flatbush? It's diversity. People love how Flatbush is diverse. They love the people. They love that they can get everything that they can here. It's more like a cultural hodgepodge where all the needs can be met. It's also accessible. You know, we mentioned that people visit Flatbush about 2 to 4 times per week. You know, they have to get there by walking, by taking the bus or train. And so people like coming to Flatbush. They come here to shop. And we believe that if we give them more reasons to, they'll come out even more. We talked about the vacancy rate being 12%. And even Lauren just mentioned about more than half the businesses just opened about less than 5 years ago. This is great. That shows that people are interested on Flatbush and they see the potential of Flatbush. Some of the challenges we have is the poor perception of sanitation in the corridor by both shoppers and businesses. Now, it's not really a perception if all of them are saying is true, right? It's probably reality where we have to do better with sanitation. And that's something that, you know, we as the Flatbush and Church Avenue BID take seriously. We have programs in effect for sanitation. And we actually just had our sanitation meeting about last week where we talked to some community members to figure out other effective solutions. So we're excited about putting those solutions to practice in the upcoming year. We also noticed that a challenge is that most businesses are not registered as MWBE, which is a missed opportunity because, as we mentioned, some merchants talked about needing, you know, resources, access to finance, as well as lease and marketing support. And if they're registered and have the ability to register as the MWBE, we find that that may help them with some of their challenges as a new business or as a business in general. Another challenge that we find in the corridor is that we might have to increase the diversity of businesses in the area. So if we want to attract more people or different types of people, maybe we should open up more bookstores, a couple of more gyms or florist shops, more community center places. Another challenge is we see that there can be a cohesion where we can connect the different businesses with different islands together. We find that on Flatbush, because it's so culturally diverse and you can find everything there, that can also be a deterrent because there's so much out there, you don't know where to go. And we would like to have the opportunity to show people where exactly to find what they're looking for in Flatbush. So some of the opportunities to help address some of these challenges would be to create some credit and finance workshops. This will give us an opportunity to find out exactly what the needs are for the business so that we can find a custom solution for their problem. We also want to improve the walkability rate to the corridor, but not only walkability, the drivability, all abilities to the corridor so that we can increase business there. And by doing that, part of the way we can do that is to help improve our sanitation efforts. You know, no one wants to leave their home and to go to a dirty home, right? We want to leave our home and go somewhere where we feel comfortable and clean, especially as we're recovering from the pandemic. So we would like to improve our sanitation, but also improve the way people see Flatbush by kind of like a brochure of what Flatbush has to offer with the different businesses and cultures that they have on Flatbush, and different foods that you can find. So we find that to be another opportunity to get people to the corridor and shopping with us here on Flatbush. And at that, now we're reaching the bottom of our presentation with this. So I want to say thank you for listening to Lauren and I about the CDNA that we conducted on Flat, but it wasn't just us. It was a community of people from different organizations. Their logos are listed here. And I think this information should be on our website very soon. Speaking of next steps, for more information, I would love if all of you guys stay connected to the Church in Flatbush Avenue bid. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and please, if you take 2 seconds to log on and to follow us, here you'll find out all the information about not only Avenue NYC and our CDNA, but the upcoming programs we have in our community to address some of the challenges we just mentioned in the presentation. So go to churchavenue.org for the information. This Sunday is our Church Avenue Street Fair, so I would love to see all of you guys come down, spend some time with our vendors, and bring the kids out. I believe there's a flyer out, and if you go on our websites and our social media, you'll definitely see it there. So please share it and bring your family and friends. Lauren, I'm not too sure if you had any last words for us.
Yeah, well, for one thing, our website may be down right now, so social media is better for church. But no, I agree with everything that Barbara said, and I forgot to remind also the Flatbush Avenue Street Fair is going to be on June 13th. So we'll make sure to notify the CB since that will affect traffic that day, and hopefully you'll all come to both fairs. But thank you, I should say thank you for having us
June
here.
12th, Lauren, or June 13th?
Did I say June 12th? June.
I think you said June 13th, but it's June 12th, I think.
June 12th. June 12th. Yeah, and we welcome any questions about any of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Hi, first of all, thank you both Lauren and Barbara for a great presentation. I have some questions, but I'll save them for later. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask Barbara or Lauren about this great presentation? Francesca?
Hi. So I heard a lot about what the plans for Flatbush. What about the other areas of the community? You know, expanding
This is Debbie Timothy talking from our board and from
in
the
other
committee.
areas. And also, I wanted to know, how did you conduct your survey?
Yeah. So for NYC, I'm not too sure if you could answer this, Lauren, but it's different community organizations who applied for the grant for their specific area. So for Church and Flatbush Avenue, I believe Lauren applied to receive this grant for Church and Flatbush Avenues. I believe the specifics for the grant is for a specific area. Lauren, am I correct with that?
Yes. We actually applied for this part of Church in Flatbush, and I just want to mention our program manager from the Department of Small Business Services is on the call. I'm not sure if she's doing 2 calls, but if she wants to jump in, Rihanna, I'll just mention that. Thank you for coming. So yeah, we applied for our 2 bids, which is Church from Coney Island Avenue to Flatbush Avenue, and Flatbush from Parkside to Cortelyou. The area that we ended up getting as a study area was a little bit bigger, but not in your direction, actually over towards Brooklyn College on Flatbush Avenue. And then 3 other groups, Habnet, Day Abroad, and the Flatbush Junction Nostrum bid all applied as well. And then when all these applications were in place, I think SBS said, oh, we should have them all do it together and have a much bigger study area. So that's how that part came to play. As far as working on things when you're asking about helping the community? Do you mean beyond just the 2 bids? Because the other groups are
Beyond,
also.
you know, like moving like more towards Utica side, you know, that whole area on the other side of Flatbush. You know, there's Nostrand Avenue, you know,
Sure.
where there's businesses there that's struggling now. There's Kingston Avenue, there's, you know, so beyond, yeah, the other side of Flatbush as well.
I think that's one of the best parts about having the 4 different groups, because we each have our service areas. For bids, as you may know, we're somewhat more restricted because our funds come from an assessment on very specific properties. Day Abroad and Habnet are broader, and I know Habnet works a lot on Nostrand. So I'm not sure if you've met Mr. Rockingster. He's on this call also.
No, it would be good to do so.
Yes, he's here. He must have stepped away. I see his empty chair.
Okay.
But he was here.
What's the name? What's his name?
His name is Jackson Rockingster. And we'll
Okay.
definitely put you, I'll put you all in touch. I'll put Mr. Burke in touch with him. Oh, here he
Okay.
comes. Jackson, we were just speaking about you, about Nostrand Avenue and the businesses there.
Oh, I think he's missing an action.
If I could jump in. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I was on another community board call that Flatbush Nostrand Junction bid is presenting tonight at. And so, yeah, exactly what Lauren and Barbara said. SBS is conducting this commercial district needs assessment in Church Ave, Flatbush Ave, and Nostrand Ave, and a few other streets. And so the focus area for Habnet has been Nostrand Avenue, between Church and the Junction, and then the Church Avenue study area. I think it goes all the way to Utica, or maybe I think it goes past Utica almost to Kings Highway. So what this study does, I'm sorry I missed the beginning of the presentation. I don't know if Barbara and Lauren already said this, but the idea is that we conduct this commercial needs assessment, commercial district needs assessment, talk to businesses, talk to consumers, and try to get as much feedback to make these takeaways and recommendations. And then that opens up funding that organizations can apply for to implement them. And so Church Avenue bid already has like a multi-year grant. So they could start right away implementing some of this work in their study area. And so the other part of the district, other organizations can apply to do work there as well. And they could do it in partnership, you know, their study areas could kind of overlap or be adjacent. So, yeah, I think that might answer it. And that application process is open right now.
So I have another question. So can the community board apply for these types of resources?
I don't think so.
They
It's usually like a community development organization, like some kind of nonprofit. I don't know.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I know like chambers of like the Brooklyn Chamber and stuff have like applied, but I don't know if like a community board has ever applied. The way the grant works is that it's like I think it's about $100,000 per organization. I mean, each one varies a bit, and you could apply for maybe more than that, and it funds an entire staff person to do this work, plus some operating expenses for, you know, events, stuff like that. So, but I'm not actually, that's a good question. I'll ask, but I'm not sure if
Okay, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, I have some. First of all, thank you very much. It was a very good presentation. As important, I believe we have very similar community needs as you do. We have, you know, in terms of what you've identified, I would agree with all of them, except more parking, but that's a personal preference. But basically, I just want to ask you, what if do you know what the merchants meant when they said marketing support?
Yeah, so they're looking for opportunities to, I guess, have free marketing. they're looking for ways to get their business out there, in front
Mhm.
of the masses, and
Mhm.
and there's the platforms are not as many, so they can get the message out, and so they need like more guerrilla, more tactics to really get in front of the consumers, especially now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. What about your street fair? Do you have a lot of merchants represented
Yes,
for the
yes.
street fair?
Have you ever been to our street fairs?
No, I haven't, but I know what street fairs are. And
Yes,
what I
I would
was
love for you to
curious
come this
about,
Sunday.
I will, or the
Okay.
13th, right? Or the 12th, June 12th. I wrote it down. But the
Okay.
other part
What's the
is
Flatbush?
it,
Mhm.
if the, how would you rate the participation? And there isn't a point to this question. It's just some impressions I have. Do you think you have a 50%, 60%, 40% participation
At the street
I,
fair?
I was gonna say, Lauren,
for
that's
the
your
street
Oh,
question.
fair?
sorry.
Yeah, go
At the
ahead.
street fair. So the Church Avenue one, which is this weekend, is a very small fair. It's only about 4 blocks long. And it's
Okay,
the bid is only half the street, the other half is residents. So we only have a maximum of 10 businesses even allowed. We only have space for 10. So that's not even, I
okay.
wouldn't even count that one. On Flatbush, percentage wise, those numbers are higher than what it is. A lot of people do participate. I would say 30, maybe more.
Okay,
It really depends,
okay,
and it's this year is going to be interesting because we haven't done it since 2019. So
sure.
people people are definitely amped up for some outdoor activities,
Yeah.
but we'll see
No,
what
I'm
happens.
just
And the
asking,
spaces
and
are free. Sorry,
I'm
go ahead.
sure I have nothing, this has nothing to do with your effectiveness. I was just thinking about the free marketing and the percentage support. Um, but as your fair becomes more annual and they see that people are there, probably more people will, more businessmen will attend if they see a value in it, but I commend you for doing it. In terms of funding, you said that your funding comes from uh, select individuals or businesses. Can you expand that just so we can learn?
Sure, sure. So the way bids are set up, when bids are first established, and for some reason, a lot of them were established in the 1980s. I think there was a real push for that. A certain
Okay.
percentage of the properties in the district have to agree to be, I'm going to call it a tax, even though it's not, but
No,
have
you're
to be
right. Go
assessed
ahead.
an amount. And then that is automatic. There is a set budget that each bid has. So there are about 76, but there's 76 bids. By the end of this week, I think there will be 78. There are 2 more that are about to come online, which was just announced. And so our budget for us, our Church Avenue budget is 203,000 a year, and our Flatbush one is 386,000. It is always the same every year. So any extra things we want to do, like this grant, are all extra money. And then each property in the district pays a percentage based on a formula. And it always adds up
Okay,
to the same.
and that includes the mom and pop real estate people?
Yeah, everyone pays a percentage based on certain things. On Flatbush Avenue, the formula is based on frontage facing Flatbush Avenue and then commercial square footage. So the same width property that's 1 story high is going to pay less than a 5-story building on the same
Right.
on the
Well,
same
I
lot.
have to commend you on that because that's a terrific accomplishment. Okay. When we had a fairly strong Nostrum Avenue Merchants Association a couple of years ago, but no one wanted to kick in money. So that's a great accomplishment.
I
Um,
will
go ahead.
If I could just plug something and we can follow up, the Department of Small Business Services just released a guide on forming a merchants association and forming a bid. And I think this was a lot of work. So it just came out last week, I believe. We can send you those links if it's something you want to share with your people. It sounds like you're
Sure.
on that
Please do that.
road.
I have
Definitely.
an additional suggestion along those lines.
Mhm.
If you would ever like to expand the geographic area of your bids, please let us know, because we would be actively interested in that. Right now, I do not see a center of gravity for us creating our own merchants association and bids. And that's mainly too, there's just so many demands on the community board. And, you know, so I would just think it would be great if you are interested to move up Flatbush to, let's say, Empire. We have a great center of commercial corridor there. It would be something we wanted to talk about. So you think about it, and small business people think about it, and let us know. Because we could,
We will.
we could certainly use the help, and if we can get it accomplished with an existing organization, I think our board would be very interested in that.
Okay,
So
it's,
thank
yeah,
you.
it's much easier. And just to mention, that has come up a lot. And
Mhm.
it's something that's discussed here and there. Right now, we're actually in the process of merging our two bids, which is a whole Megillah that takes about
Oh,
a
sure.
year and a half. After
Okay.
that, but so we're not changing anything now, but our office is actually in your district. We're at Brooklyn Commons, which we love. So
Okay.
we're down there. All we know, we're very familiar with all those businesses that are down by
Okay.
Empire.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's Empire and down Flatbush. That's our strongest. Well, actually, I think our strongest corridor is probably Kingston.
Okay.
But that's unique. But Flatbush is doing pretty well, and I've also noticed on Nordstrom Avenue, and this is all my personal opinions. I have seen a lot of new businesses open from Empire down to like Clarkson, and I'm pretty sure it's a function of the rent, and also on Rogers. So it's interesting what's going on. And in terms of your presentation, a lot of them are diverse businesses in terms of what they're producing or services offered. So if there are no more questions and comments, I just want to thank you. If you could send us this presentation, it would be terrific. And if you ever would like to talk, we'd be happy to talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, who is that?
This
Warren,
is Jackson Rocking Store from Hackman.
Warren.
Yes, just let Mr. Rock speak for a second, and then Debbie, you're welcome to talk.
No, this is Bishop.
Oh, hi, Bishop. Just let Mr. Rock speak, and then we'll call on you.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
It's Rocking Store, actually. I just put Rock for short.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading your
Jackson is fine.
name.
Jackson is fine. So
Okay.
I heard your question. We're definitely interested in expanding our Nordstrom Avenue Merchant Association. Right now it's from Glenwood to Snyder, but we go to like Parkside. And if we would love to have the means to even push it even longer, and definitely establish, you know, the requisite to make it, you know, to make it evolve into a bid. So if you're interested,
Okay.
if you're interested in,
No, we are interested in discussions. And by the way, we have a 501c that we can include, so it doesn't have to be a New York government agency, called Friends of Brooklyn CV9. But by all means, let's talk. I think from what I'm seeing, that I have a glimmer of hope that I hadn't seen before. And of course, you know, in the last couple of years, but we did have COVID. So please contact our office, and we'll be happy to set up a meeting.
all right, thank you.
Okay, Bishop?
Yes, sir.
Bishop Gonzalez, she's a member
my-
of the board.
Thank you. I'm sorry for being late. I got caught in that storm, those hail
Oh,
that were falling outside. Warren,
shoot.
I don't know. You were asking if they can expand it to Empire
Yes.
Boulevard, and I was wondering why not to Eastern Parkway? Because
You're
they're out of,
100% correct.
I'm sorry?
You're 100% correct. I was sort of thinking of Flatbush, but then I was brought up about Nordstrom. If it's Nordstrom, I agree 100%. And the reason I said Empire for Flatbush is because up to Eastern Parkway, you have two institutions, the museum and the park. So I agree, Bishop. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else have a
Debbie, you
question?
look good. God bless you.
What
Thank
does
you,
that have to do
likewise.
with the Merchants Association? I'm kidding. So anyway, that's it. So thank you both, and thank you, Jonathan. And please, be in contact. I'd like to have one meeting prior to June 30th when we sort of go on vacation for 2 months. But, you know, let's have some initial discussions. And based upon that, we'll go to, if we do it through the board, which cannot be a partner, but, you know, we do want to have the blessing that goes to the executive committee and the full board. And if we do it through Friends of Community Board 9, that's a little different because it's a private organization. So let's see what the best fit is, and let's start discussions. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you
Have
so
a
Thank
much.
good
you.
night.
thank you. And please send us a copy of that to the office. It's
Yes, will
exactly the
do.
same as here. Exactly the same. All right, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
so let's get on with our meeting. Everybody is welcome to stay here. All right, the next thing on our agenda is the farm stand. As everybody knows, we have a unique New York City Grow farm stand that's been established since, I would say, last October. And it was doing, we made it through the winter, and the farm stand had to be moved from in front of the Associated. And the purpose of the original reason for the request for the farm stand was that the Associated Supermarket on Nordstrom and between Nordstrom between Empire and Sullivan was being shut down and sold, and we wanted to fulfill with Borough Hall a fresh produce availability for our residents. So we're working with Grow New York City. The community board has established this, and probably about 3 weeks ago they started to demolition on Associated, and right now it's gone, so they'll be start building. So we've moved the farm stand to Crown Street and Nordstrom by Medgar Evers Prep. And I have to say that it is, you know, knowing the small availability of product, that the farm stand is doing better there. There's more foot traffic and we're having more people stop by. I think that once the produce increases, the spring and summer crops come in, I really do think it's going to provide a terrific service. Are there any questions or comments about that? Okay, so my next request is that everybody here go and buy produce from it because it's delicious and it's very inexpensive. And tell people that they take SNAP, and you get 2 for 1 every dollar you spend. I'm sorry, 1 for 1. Every dollar you spend, you get a little chip. So if you spend $1, you get $2 worth of food, which is pretty cool. Okay, the next thing is the community fair. The community fair is happening on June 4th. Mia had sent you the flyer earlier. What I'd like you to do, what we would like you to do, meaning all the people working on this, is to take that flyer and distribute it to your stakeholders. It would be great if for block associations and any organization you think is appropriate. Right now, we have between 40 and 50 vendors. Francesca Leopold's committee has really contributed to that. And we have 3 food vendors from the local community. So that's something I'd like to bring up, is that if you know a restaurant that is in our district that would like to come and sell food, and the keyword is sell, not give, please get their information and let's contact the office, because we could really use like 5 or 6. But I think that, you know, based on the location and everything else, I think there's going to be heavy traffic flow. And not just because of the community fair, but because it's by the museum. And I'm sure we will have people seeing it and come over. We have DJs, we have some sort of entertainment, a huge amount of resources. This committee, in terms of the people on it, have not generated any of the government stuff, but we took care of that. But if you could do something in terms of people you know in the food service business, it would be terrific. Let's see what else I have. The next thing is we need volunteers from the committee. So would anybody like to volunteer on June 4th from 11 to 4, or probably from 10 to 4, to help us set up? Actually, the setup's going to be taken care of by the vendor, but to help us work the fair. If you'd like to volunteer, please contact the office. And it's going to be, number one, we should all be there as board members. But the second thing is our community residents, please come by. It would be great to see you in person, as well as helping out a little. Any comments or questions?
So this,
Yes,
so this
so-
event is on June 4th. And
Yes.
If we haven't reached out to board members by now, if this is a collective event, then when are we going to do that? I mean,
You know, Debbie, we've been asking for your help the whole time and we haven't gotten any. The spreadsheet
you were
was
supposed
sent
to
out
get some
today.
information back to
I
me,
sent it
Warren,
to
and you
you.
did
It
not.
was sent to you. It was sent to you. You
When
had
was that?
a
I've been checking
right
my
after.
emails. I didn't get
No,
anything
no,
from
no, no.
you.
Okay. Well, anyway, you won't get it from me. You'll get it from the office. So
I
there were
didn't get
talking
anything.
points. Excuse me. All the other members did. Okay, and we'll have the email resent to you with the talking points. You don't have to really worry about it now because it's done. Okay,
Okay.
and now what we're looking for is volunteers. So
Okay,
the
because, yeah.
volunteers, there's a spreadsheet sent out. Check your email. And I believe our administrative office has done a good job on this. Okay, so thank you. Any other
Okay.
questions or comments?
Yeah,
All
so
right.
my colleagues from the chamber one of my colleagues from the chamber signed up for the June 4th event to
Oh,
table,
excellent.
but didn't hear
Terrific.
anything back yet. I was just wondering
What's the
what.
name of that? I don't have an answer to that, but Mia is on the phone. Could you just say who
Hi.
your
Good
associate
evening,
is?
Jonathan. What's your colleague's name?
His name is Taylor Vidal.
Okay, perfect. I'll touch base with Dante in the morning when I get to the office, the district manager, and I will get back to him with an answer. He used the Google form to sign up, correct?
Yes,
Okay, got it. Okay, so we'll reply back to him tomorrow. Sorry for the delay.
it's all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for bringing this up, Jonathan. It's something we'll check into just in terms of process. But Dante, Mia, and Khalib are usually pretty good with this stuff. So let's see what happens. Any other questions, comments?
Hi, Warren. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
This is-
can. Hi,
This
Janice.
is Janice. Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm calling because I heard you say something about the food vendors, and I'm
Yes.
wondering if, and it is to sell, but if it's a restaurant, what do they get, a table, or they have to get a space, or
Well,
what?
you'll get a space and tables. Okay. It depends on, that's an individual thing based on the product being offered.
Well, I'm thinking
the sta-
about a couple of restaurants on Flatbush. And
Okay, that'd be
I
great.
don't know, Taqueria and the Hot Pot and a few other places, but I don't
Uh-huh.
know what to tell them. I frequented many of them, but I don't know what to tell them, to just bring your food out, or they have to contact CB9 and
No,
register.
you just can't bring your food out. You have to apply and be approved.
Got it.
But if you send me their information, I will call each of them.
Okay, got
All
it.
right? That would be great. But basically what I'm envisioning, and I don't know this, but if you have hot food, you can either have chafing dishes or something like that, like at a street fair.
Oh, right.
It's
They
the
would
same,
have,
it's the
these
same,
are restaurants. They're professional
I know.
restaurants, so.
Right. So what I'm saying is that when you go to a street fair and there are restaurants selling their goods, they have a setup. If it's something that's not hot, then that's easy because you can display it and sell it. If it's something that's hot food, which I think Hotspot would be, or Empanada City, then you have to bring your own facility to heat the food. But that can be all done on an individual basis. So if you send me the information, we'll be happy to contact each of them and go over it and see whether they want to do it or not, as well as their capabilities. If we can fill in some of those capabilities, we'd be happy to.
Okay, but do they have to bring their own table or pay for a table? How does that
No,
work?
no, you don't have to pay for a table, and we will provide tables and
Okay,
chairs.
okay.
Uh,
Thank you.
All right. And that'd be great if you could do that, Janice.
Okay, thank you. I'm on it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so the office sent you a flyer. If you're interested in volunteering, I believe the spreadsheet, did the spreadsheet go out to the chairs or to the committee members?
I have to
Mm.
double check with Dante because he sent that out, but the flyer with the Google link to sign up for registration has gone out.
Yes.
I believe it is on the website and circulated on our constant contact because we've had
Okay,
a number
great.
of people sign up to volunteer.
Terrific. And
Thank
the
you.
other thing we've done that I'm very proud of is that we're getting the flyer on links, New York City links, on all those kiosks, which are pretty good. But the best service that people in this committee can do is send it to your stakeholders, as well as I think block associations are extremely important. Okay, any other questions or comments on that? All right, so any old business? Any new business? Well, I'll put some new business on. I would like to just say that when we get in contact with people from the organization on Nordstrom, we're going to have them come back next year, and we'll begin discussing this as a committee. So thank you. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, so let's keep
Really,
talking.
yes.
A second?
Warren,
Okay.
I'd like to on the 4th, come
Yes.
with some of my students.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, so that they can participate. So
That'd be terrific.
yes, I'm going to let you know.
Let
Yes,
us
I'll
know.
bring some children out.
No, that would be great because we can use all the help we can get, and plus it could be a good learning experience for them.
Yes, I know it will.
All right, thank you, Bishop.
All right, no
Okay,
problem.
so this is I'm ending the meeting. Meeting's adjourned. I just want to thank everybody for a good meeting, and I hope to see everybody on the 4th, even if you can come for an hour. Just come down, let's introduce each other and get to know each other. So thank you all.
Are
Thank
we
you,
going to
Mia,
have
and thank
music?
you.
Warren, are we
Yes,
going to have music?
Yes.
Okay.
If you we have a DJ. If you take a look at the flyer that was sent out to you by Mia today, it lists not only the DJ, but the different classifications of participants, resources, and vendors that we're having.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. Good night, everybody.
You
Have
too.
a
Have
good
a great night.
Thank you. Thank you, Mia.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Good night. Thank you,
Night.
Mia.
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
Good
everyone.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Francesca.
Thanks for having me.